Today on All Caps. The definition of absurdity. Iran is now set to oversee women's rights for the UN. We're breaking down the global outcry for the regime's new role. Plus, a historic win for justice. A U.S. appeals court reinstates a $656 million judgment against the PLO for victims of terror. Then, unmasking the hate. We're diving into the new global report ranking the world's most dangerous anti-Semitic influencers. And breaking barriers in the Arab world. The Israeli creator using his voice to reach millions across the Middle East in their own language. Joining us at the table, one of the most powerful voices in international advocacy today, Yoseph Haddad. It all starts right now.
Welcome back to All Caps. It is so good to be with you all. Ladies, tell me, what caught your eyes this week?
Well, the UN doesn't cease to surprise me.
For a change?
Yeah, sometimes I ask myself, every once in a while you see a big celebrity like Meryl Streep or Angelina Jolie going to the UN and speaking as if they're speaking in the most moral place, full of democracies that are trying to fix the world. And I'm asking myself, when are people going to understand that the UN is so far away from this place? Just this week, the Iranian regime secured a spot at a committee that decides which human rights organization will be able to speak and work within the UN. And all that in front of representatives from the UK, from Australia, from France, from Canada. I mean, it is proven that the UN is supportive of terrorism. It is proven that its bodies like UNRWA participated in October 7th. I'm asking, when is it going to be the end? When are we going to abolish this institution, create a new body that is full of democracies that really wants to make a difference?
Breaking news. Iran has been nominated at the UN to oversee women's rights, human rights, disarmament, and terrorism prevention authority. Countries like France, Spain, Canada, United Kingdom, Germany, Austria, Australia, and 4 other nations voted in favor of the nomination.
What are these leaders going to tell their countries? How useless can you be?
You know what? They don't really need to say anything to these countries because there are countries that are ultimately all against Israel. They don't need the UN, but they do go. Let's take an example in Chile. What happened in Chile is a new president, Jose Antonio, got elected. The former one, Gabriel Boric, who is not in office anymore, 3 days before the final elections, went to the UN and joined Chile into a committee which its own focus is against Israel. A committee that was established in 1975. It's called Committee on the Exercise of the Inalienable Rights of the Palestinian People. And this is the committee that invoked the decision of Zionism is racism. And this is a committee where Francesca Albanese is coming all the time, visiting and preaching and speaking. Those who, this one who's calling Israel an apartheid state and calling it a genocidal state. And this is a committee that every year have a solidarity day in November 29 in favor of the Palestinians. They came out with a phrase, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, which means the annihilation of the state of Israel.
Let's go to a better, I don't know if to call it a better video, but like in Lebanon, people were asked in the streets what they think about the possibility peace between Israel and Lebanon, and I want to show you the video.
ان شاء الله وبحس في سلام انا بحس ايه
بصير بدور سيارة بننزل نسهر بإسرائيل
بتصير لا ما بتصير
شو بيتغير؟ بتعتبري حنرتاح؟
انه مش احلى من العنف
والحرب والهيدا
عم بيقولوا ممكن يوصلوا لاتفاق سلام وتنتهي
أنا
الحرب.
اليوم هيك قالوا لي الصبح بالبيت إنه إن شاء الله في وفد.
انت مع انه يصير هيدا الاتفاق؟
ايه خي للبلد هون ولا هداك.
ليش لا؟ يعني كلها أبرياء عم تروح وأطفال، بكفي بقى والله.
يرتاح مثل الدول الباقي كلها العالم كلها مرتاحه صار لها سنين، يعني بحق له على البلد يرتاح كمان.
This video may surprise people all over the world, but these people, first of all, are tired from war. Yeah. They are tired. Yeah. They don't have money. They want to live their life. And they maybe remember, Beirut used to be the Paris of the Middle East. Mm-hmm. They had strong economy. They had good university. And they were really open-minded society. People in this region used to send their children to the university in Beirut, in Lebanon. But in 1970, the PLO, they banned from Jordan, and they came to Lebanon, and they started to use Lebanon as a base to attack Israel. Over time, Hezbollah, funded by Iran, came to Lebanon and started attack Israel. And also, in 1975, it was a big civil war between the Sunnis, the Islam, and the Christian. Right. And they remember what was their life before PLO, before Hezbollah, and they want this. They want the country be back.
I agree that a lot of people in Lebanon want to go back and to live in a free country, but I want to tell you that some time ago I filed a lawsuit against Hezbollah in the United States, and I needed to serve Hezbollah with the papers, and there is no way to serve any Hezbollah terrorists in Lebanon, so we asked the court for an alternative service, which is publishing in Lebanese newspapers the fact that we are suing Hezbollah. And we called 10 newspapers, Christian ones, Christians, no Shiites, no Hezbollah. We asked them to just put an ad in the paper, which we pay for, that say that we are suing Hezbollah. And none of these newspapers agreed.
But it makes sense.
They're scared.
They're scared. No. I would say it's okay if they're scared, but they said we do hate Hezbollah, but we hate Israelis more.
It's crazy how we, Israel, have to help the people of other countries to fight against the terrorist regimes that are occupying them. Think about this. This is crazy.
This is why we are light to the nations.
Yeah.
To the Middle East, at least.
Yeah. To the Middle East, for sure, yeah.
Let's move on. Now to a landmark legal victory that I've had the honor of leading. A U.S. appeals court has just reinstated a massive $655 million judgment against the PLO and the Palestinian Authority for victims of terror. After years of fighting and litigating in court, we finally win. Let's discuss this victory.
Wow, so that's like closing a full circle. For 20 years, this case was going on, right?
Yes, for 22 years. We filed a case in 2004.
Wow.
Against the Palestinian Authority in the federal court in New York because we wanted a judgment from a jury saying who's responsible for the Intifada. And the Palestinian Authority hired lawyers, came to court, litigated this case. After 11 years, we went to trial, 2015, before a jury. And we made sure, before we filed the case, to collect the victims that were killed by Palestinian employees, Palestinians that receive money from the Palestinian Authority, Palestinians that takes orders from the Palestinian Authority.
And this is how you connect between the Palestinian Authority and the terrorists?
Right, exactly. We needed to link between the Palestinian Authority to the terror attacks themselves because we didn't want to lose. And the jury was listening to the case, and the defendants, the Palestinian Authority, had a defense. They said, indeed, they were our employees, but they were rogue employees. They did the attacks after work hours. It wasn't our policy to kill Israelis. We were against killing Jews.
Okay, and how did you prove that it's the biggest lie in the world? How did you prove that?
Of course. So we came and said, if these were rogue employees, how do you keep paying their salary in the Israeli jail? The terrorists who committed these terror attacks, perpetrated them, sitting in the Israeli jail, receive a salary from you. Pay for slay, your famous policy. You pay stipends to the families of the suicide bombers. You call town squares and streets on the names of the suicide bombers.
Because that policy is out in the open and that policy still exists.
Yes.
Does that mean that you can keep suing the PLO for the rest of your life?
Right. So I'll tell you what they did as a result of the judgment that we just received. They declared that they are getting away from their prisoners' law that obligates them to pay stipends to the prisoners, and they will no longer pay the terrorists in jail.
And is that true?
Would you believe that?
No. Okay, so
of course
not. So
but look what it happened. It caused them really to come and declare, we are kind of abandoning our prisoners. They will never do it.
Okay, but you can prove otherwise. You can keep proving that the money is going to the prisoners' families, even nowadays.
Yes.
Yeah. So that is not only historical. This is a system that can always sustain.
Speaking about the money, how the money that you won in the court is going to go? How are you going to collect it?
So let me tell you about the judgment first. In the end of the trial, we won a judgment for $655 million against the Palestinian Authority and the PLO.
Wow.
They rushed to court, fired their lawyers and hired new ones from New York this time, and filed an appeal and claimed one allegation that didn't say anything about the verdict of the jury or the expert that we filed in the case or the reports or the witnesses. Just one technical argument, personal jurisdiction. They said the United States cannot have a case in its court against the Palestinian Authority. There is no connection between the Palestinian Authority and the United States. And here we spent 10 years litigating in all courts, went all the way to the Supreme Court, changing the law.
You changed the law?
Yeah. They changed the law in the United States court.
So what is the law? How was the law before and what did you change it to?
The court said, indeed, the Constitution in the United States demands personal jurisdiction. You don't have any ties, and we lost the appeal. So we went to Congress and asked them to change the law to connect the Palestinian Authority to the United States. How? By saying that if the Palestinian Authority receives aid from the United States government, they should perceive as agreeing to personal jurisdiction in its court.
Wow.
But also, the people who get attacked in this terror attack, they were also Americans, right?
Yeah, they're all American. We filed a case based on the Anti-Terrorism Act that allows American citizens that were killed and injured in terror attacks abroad to bring their cases in the United States against overseas terror organizations.
So it's only Americans? So,
yes.
And how can Israelis sue?
Israelis cannot sue in the United States. They are suing in Israel. And in Israel, we indeed collect money against the Palestinian Authority. Hundreds of millions of dollars have been collected so far from the tax money that Israel collects for the Palestinian Authority. And this is what we're planning to do with this judgment as well. Because after this long-term litigation, we finally got the Supreme Court of the United States to agree that there is personal jurisdiction against the Palestinian Authority. Actually, they said something phenomenal. They said the fact that the Palestinian Authority pays money to the murderers of American citizens, this pay-for-slay policy that allows them to pay money to whoever killed American citizens, victims of terror, connects the Palestinian Authority to the United States.
Wow.
And this is reinstating the personal jurisdiction.
So it's just the first lawsuits, like in the United States in this form, right?
Yes, this is the first judgment we received.
Yeah.
And the court could have just let us relitigate the case or reinstate the judgment. But the court did something unbelievable. He came and said, I will not let the victims suffer any longer. 22 years, a lot of time. And I respect the will of the American Congress to fight terrorism. And therefore, I will bring back the judgment, reinstate it, and allow the victims.
Wow, that is huge. Nitzana, you live in this case, as Sarah says, 22 years. And this is one of your first case, right?
Yeah.
Can I say that?
Yes.
Is that when it's like, it means something personal to you?
It means a lot. It means a lot. It's a huge victory. Listen, this type of litigation is very challenging, very exciting. We're doing the right thing for the right people. We're taking away the money from the terror organizations and give it to the one who deserve it most, the terror victims. And we are preventing money from flowing to the hands of the terror organizations. And this type of victory that actually affects the Palestinian Authority to rethink about their pay-for-slave policy, about what they're doing,
They need
if
to
it's
find a new
worth their
system.
while.
They have to find a new system.
Yeah,
to
they will
promote-
find a new system. They will find a new system. As a matter of fact, the Mahmoud Abbas already said that if the Palestinian Authority will be left with $1 less, they will give it to the jihadists.
So we're going to take that $1,
And we are going to exactly. We'll continue.
Sana versus the PLO. I love it.
Yeah.
Wow, you are a superwoman. This is incredible.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Incredible.
And it's for the terror victims. Money is one thing, but the battle of the narrative is another. Our next guest is a man who's constantly on the front lines of this battle, representing Israel with an energy and truth that the world desperately needs to hear. Please welcome international advocate Yoseph Haddad.
National star.
Yoseph,
Thank you for having me.
So great to have you here.
Thank you.
You talk with people in Iran, you talk with people in Lebanon, you talk with people in Jordan. What do you hear that we Israelis and perhaps the entire world does not hear?
Well, it depends because there's so many topics.
Let's start with Lebanon, maybe.
So not only within Lebanon, because also inside Lebanon, there's so many talking points regarding what the Arab Lebanese think about us. Because you have about 2/3 of Lebanon, if we're talking about the Christians, the Druze, and the Muslim Sunni, they want the destructions of Hezbollah more even than we want it, to that level. And I'm going actually to share with you a story. I shared it a couple of times, but it's not very familiar. Back in 2006, I fought in the Second Lebanon War. And I was in a village called Binjbel.
Yeah.
This village is now again in the headlines.
We lost so many soldiers in this battle in Binjbel.
We lost in 2006
right now.
so many from
And also
my
now.
platoon as well, and my brigade, 51 Brigade, Golani. And the thing is about this battle is that when we entered southern Lebanon and we arrived to Binjbel, we had to capture one of the houses. Majority of the people ran away, but some of them stayed. And when we entered one of the houses that Lebanese were there, it was a Christian family. And the second the father of the house knew that I speak Arabic, and Arabic is my mother tongue language, we had a conversation between us. And he said to me something that I will never, ever forget. He said, first of all, you guys are welcome here. That's one.
Oh, wow.
Hold on. It's even getting better. He said, first of all, you're welcome here. Second, if you think that Hezbollah is terrorizing you guys, then you have no idea what they are doing to us. Wow. This time, finish the job.
Wow.
Literally in 2006, a Lebanese family, a father of a Lebanese family, looked into my eyes and told me, finish the job. We did not finish the job. And we did not finish the job in 2024. Now we are in 2026. 2/3 of Lebanon wish that the IDF finish the job. Why they wish that? Because they cannot do it themselves. They're incapable of doing it. And they're saying that they cannot handle Hezbollah as a proxy of the IRGC.
You're saying 2/3, so what is the other third?
So here's also some optimistic from that one news from that 1/3. That 1/3 called the Shia Muslims. Okay? According to last polls done by the Lebanese, they are showing, according to the data, that 35% of the Shia actually against Hezbollah now, because of the fact that they who live in the south of Lebanon are being taken out, running away, and their houses are being blown, and there is no stability, no economical stability, no security stability, no nothing. And therefore, they're saying, we thought we are the Shia Lebanese, at least 35% of them, we thought that Hezbollah is actually fighting for the land.
Yeah.
But now we understand that they're fighting for who? For the IRGC and for the Ayatollah Khamenei. We need to do two important things. Number one, we must continue fighting. We must not agree to any ceasefire with Hezbollah. Because I will say it again, the ceasefire is not with Lebanon. With Lebanon, we can achieve peace in 1 minute. And the only way that we can do it is to have a negotiation, peaceful negotiation with the Lebanese, but at the same time to understand that we cannot have these peaceful negotiations if it's not under heavy fire.
But let's say you agree with the Lebanese prime minister and you sign a peace deal. How do you control Hezbollah then from there?
Well, first of all, what we need to do today is very simple. We need to arrive to the Litani River. And we need to do what we did in Gaza, where we have what we call it the yellow zone. That should be, right now, the yellow zone. So the yellow zone would be from the Litani to the borders between Lebanon and Israel, what we know it today, which is very close to Managa, Kfar Giladi, and all those places, and Kiryat Shmona. Once we put that in the field, on the ground, we know that now southern Lebanon, from the Litani towards our borders, are completely free from Hezbollah, completely free from the radical Shia residents, and you have only villages of Christians and Druze. Doing that, by the way, and even further, defending the Christian community and the Druze community from Hezbollah, it would give us advantage in the international community to tell them, shut up, the Lebanese are with us, and you're literally supporting Iranian regime and Hezbollah. Once we put that pressure on the Lebanese, and claim that this is the yellow zone, a buffer zone, and there will nothing, we will not give it 1 inch of it until we actually see that the Lebanese government managed to kick out the ambassador of the Iranian regime.
Can they? That's the question. I feel like
only with the IDF.
Okay.
Only with the IDF. And they are willing to do that, but they were not willing to speak about it, guys. So let's be once in our time life being a little bit smart and say,
what I learned the last 2 years, that no matter how good we're trying to do as an Israeli,
the world is against us.
Yes, the world is against us, and it's lead me to the next question. You are a Christian, Arab, Israeli who advocate for Israel, and I'm sure they are shocked when they see you talking and explaining and talking for Israel. What do you answer to them?
Well, you should see Amjad Taha and Lu'ay Sharif and Ahmed Lu'ay. All of them, by the way, Arabs who are not Israelis.
Yeah.
You have from the UAE, you have from Bahrain, you have from Yemen.
We're going to have one of them in the show.
But the fact that you are Israeli,
of course,
Arab, talking like behalf of Israel, doing advocate, it's much more worse for them and like hard for them to understand.
Absolutely.
How Arab can do advocate for Israel.
I'll tell you even more than that. About May 2024. I took a delegation of 50 Arab Israelis from all communities, Christians, Muslims, and Druze. And we went to the British Parliament. We had a meeting there with the lords and members of the parliament. And it was so important and successful that the parliament members there who came to the event said, this could not be at that level. We have to step up and bring it to the main hall of the British Parliament. So in 2026, and we are working on it literally now, we're going to bring double of the delegation, hundreds of 100 people from the Arab community to arrive to the British Parliament and to speak in the front of the British Parliament about our reality. But if you think that was the highlight, no, guys, that wasn't the highlight. Our highlight was 2 hours after we were in the Parliament because we took the metro. Now we have our T-shirt on it, says in Hebrew and in Arabic, together vouch for each other. معا نكفل بعضنا البعض.
Wow.
And we had the yellow ribbons because at that time we had hostages in Gaza, and we went to protest against the fact that a lot of British people are literally echoing a narrative of a terrorist organization. And of course, we wanted to protest against terror, the supporters of terrorism and terror organizations like Hamas and Hezbollah. When the Jewish community and the pro-Israeli, not Jewish community, understood that Arab Israelis from all communities are coming, they were so excited that our protest was finally bigger than the counter-protest of the pro-Palestinians. British people who passed looked like this and looked at this and says, aren't they confused with the size? No, we weren't confused with the size. And in fact, what we did is so unbelievable. And the level of how can I say it, energy that it was there. Even if I didn't manage to convince one anti-Israel person, but I gave the Jewish community and the pro-Israeli non-Jewish community a bit of energy, it's a huge win for us.
I think that if Israel would have more Arab Israelis speaking like you, we would be in a way better position.
You want
and
me
this
to tell
is
you
my
something
question.
else? I believe also that if we're Jews who speaks Arabic and knows exactly how to come and to speak to the Arab world as a Jew, it will be phenomenal because I see something like that.
Okay, so this is the question that I have in mind for a long time. As an Arab Israeli, on one hand, you live your life freely. You can do whatever you want. You could be whoever you want to be, and you know that.
I can
on
be.
The other hand,
if I can be elected, I can be elected to be the president of Israel.
I'm saying for every Arab Israeli knows that. And on the other hand, the anti-Israel propaganda in Arabic is insane. So what do you think can turn an Arab Israeli more pro-Israeli or more against Israel?
What we spoke, what you said and what I said. More Arab Israelis joining the forces. And by the way, I've seen a lot of more Arab Israelis since the 7th of October actually doing Israeli Hezbollah. And in fact, I love to drop names because I'd like to give them also the opportunity to be known and heard and maybe follow him.
You know why they're doing it? They're doing it because they're scared. They're doing it because Arab people got killed on October 7th. They're doing it because there is no discrimination when it comes to terrorism.
But let me tell you something. The person that I was actually going to mention, his name is Ali Sha'ban. And Ali has served over 400 days as a reserved on duty commander and fighter, and he's an Arab Muslim.
Yeah.
Further than that, he opened the camera while he was on IDF uniforms, and he started to do Hezbollah, explaining about Israel, explaining about why he is fighting, and why as an Arab Muslim, he is fighting Hezbollah, he's fighting Hamas, he's fighting the Houthis, he's fighting the Iranian regime. And doing that, even if he gets so much hatred from the anti-people, the fact that he is managing to bring that perspective, it makes in the Arab world speak about IDF Muslim soldier and speaking like this. You're telling us that there's no such thing and no that, no. So one part of it is really bringing the Arab Israelis to speak out loud, and we are doing it, and step by step more and more people, and I just gave one names, but there's a lot of names that I can give. An additional part of it is what I said. Today I see some of the Jewish activists who speak Arabic, and they make a difference. They make a difference. When they show their knowledge in the Quran, and then in the Torah, and even in the Bible, and when they speak Arabic, and when they go and speak their terminology and their mindset, and they say, he says, "Are you Yahudi?" The Arab asks the Jew, and the Jew answers him, "Alhamdulillah."
That changed.
That changed everything with you saying, "Alhamdulillah." Wait, hold on. No. The fact as an Arab that I grew up in a Western country with Western values made me a better person. But I also do not forget where I come from and where my enemy come from and where we are. Right. So if we do not know how to balance between the fact that we have Western values to the fact that in the territories we are in the Middle East, we have no right to exist.
What do you think about the UN? Because I think it's connected.
Absolutely. I think it's the most biased, corrupt body that claim to be a body that, not claim, it was supposed to be the body that keeps peace and make good in the world. What happened? That this body has become a supporter of terror organizations and terror states, like Qatar and like the Iranian regime and like North Korea.
How do you think it's going to end? How are we going to abolish the UN? This is like a question that I have in my mind for a long time.
We need to discuss this, and we need to speak about it not only here in Israel, but with the United States and with the international community and say, your laws are wrong, and they are not fitting the new modern warfare against terror organizations who are using their own people as human shields. And in fact, what you guys are doing is with your laws, you're giving them the opportunity to kill their own people.
Right, give them
so
power.
instead of fixing those laws, you're attacking those who actually want to maintain the laws and those who, how do you say it gently? Those who, you know what, I'm not going to say it. Those who shit on those laws, okay? You actually give them backing. So we need to open that and say, guys, those laws are not working. I'm sorry.
I want to take you for a moment from the Middle East, bring you to New York or the campuses in the United States. You've been fighting BDS. You've invested a lot in outreach to Generation Z. What was the most bizarre thing that you saw in your speeches and activity?
I think if there is one thing that I can put my finger on as a very obvious thing is the fact that I love when people who have never been in Israel even 1 second tells me, the Arab who lives in Israel, that I live under apartheid regime.
They said the same thing about me, by the way.
Of course, because as an Ethiopian, coming from the Ethiopian community. Absolutely. Look, let me tell you, I like to answer these by my own stories, my life, my reality. Yeah. I was in a lecture in front of 500 students. And in my lecture, I arrived to a point where I said, I, as a commander, as an Arab commander in the IDF, I was a commander over Jewish soldiers. So who's the fool or the idiot that was going to tell me that I live under apartheid regime? And surely, it didn't take more than 1 second, and an absolute idiot stood up and says, no, you are the idiot, referring to me. And he says that you are also, and he tells me that you are the sucker as well, because you're an Arab. And to the Jews, you will always stay an Arab no matter what. And therefore, the second there's no use of you to the Jews, they will throw you to the garbage. That's a sentence that was said to me in front of 500 students. My answer left the entire 500 students in complete shock. Complete shock to the level where you could have dropped a feather and listen to the mic. Feather. No, not drop the mic. Actually, leave the feather drop on the ground, and you actually hear the feather slams on the ground because there was not even a single peep from them. Because I looked at that anti-Israel person, I said, you know something? If I want to base my life and my reality on your story and on your nonsense, then you know what? The Jews had the opportunity to throw me to the garbage because there was no use of me. And in fact, trying to save my life, it would put them in jeopardy. Everybody was in complete silence. What the hell is he talking about? What do you mean there was no use of me? And what do you mean trying to save me? It means putting Jewish life in jeopardy. So let me explain to you this. In 2006, as I started, I said I fought in the Second Lebanon War in southern Lebanon against Hezbollah. 4 days before that ceasefire, on the 10th of August 2006, I was actually injured badly when a Hezbollah rocket bypassed me and hit a wall that was very close to me. And from the explosion, I flew in there, and I immediately was injured very badly. My foot was cut off, a huge shrapnel cut my face, a bullet that came up from the explosion, from the missile itself, they implanted themselves, went through my thigh to the other side. So I was injured really badly. I was lucky because the doctor that was there, he was a reserved on duty doctor, which means he had a lot of experience, but he had zero tact. And while he was treating me, he goes 2 meters from me, and keep in mind, I never lost consciousness. I was aware of what's going on. I couldn't move, I couldn't speak, but I could see and I could hear. Wow. So he goes away from me 2 meters, goes in the communication center, and he says, the situation is very simple. And he clearly saved my life, that first treatment. But he says like this, while I hear this, the situation is very simple. Come in the first hour to evacuate him, and he will survive. But if there's no possibility due to the fight and the war zone, then come in a few hours with the tank ambulance and rescue the body. And I'm like, dude, I'm here. I'm here. I'm hearing you. Dude, like, okay, no problem. You want to say, go say it in a different place. But look, my mission, my target here is just to show you that there was no use of me. I am done. So, an anti-Israel idiot comes to me in front of 500 people, tells me that the Jews will kick me to the garbage once there's no use of me. And my own experience is that the Jews saved my life when there was no use of me. So when I speak like this from the bottom of my heart, what do you think happened in that crowd among those 500 students? Here's the sum up. The 50-50 people, they were no longer 50-50. Now they're with us. And they came to me and they said that because of that story. The pro-Israeli people who were there, now they feel more proud even. And what about the anti-Israel people? I did not come to that lecture to convince a person with a Hamas symbols on his head about Israel. Exactly. I came for only one reason and one reason only. To piss them off and make them so much angry that they will get up and leave the lecture. And this is exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's good.
Wow.
Yeah. This is the story that turns you to who you are today. And this is
because this is the reality. But this is my own personal story.
Yeah.
You know how many
how do we make more of you?
Yoseph,
how do we make more of you? I want to make more of you. This is my mission. So you said speaking Arabic is, I take that. personally, by the way, I'm thinking about learning.
Go for it.
Yeah, and I have good accent
We can do
too.
so many things.
I have good accent too because both my parents speak Arabic.
Wait until you hear some of the accents. I'm in a very close connection with some of our heroes who were released from captivity in Gaza. They picked up the Gazan accent.
Yeah.
They picked up, they speak Arabic in a crazy way that I'm like, wow, I don't even speak that accent. So if you can do an accent, that would be crazy. And by the way, one of the things that I always speak about is the fact that when we can have like imagine this. You guys have no idea, for instance, that there's so many Lebanese quite like us. If you go to Beirut, you're going to have so much fun in Beirut. I am telling you, Beirut, Tel Aviv, same, just different name.
Yeah.
The parties, the food scene, the cuisine, the festivals, the music, the culture,
Yoseph,
all of it exists there.
Yoseph, I have a question, okay? For the first time in my life, I realized about Lebanon. I didn't know that most of Lebanon is actually supporting peace with us, okay?
Absolutely.
And of course, we know after the Iran war that from the 90 people in Iran, only 10% supports the regime. So it's like,
absolutely,
it's dozens of millions. How come in both cases, Lebanon and Iran, the people can't manage to rise up against the terrorist organization that's oppressing them? I don't understand.
Let me ask you a simple question. Was it easy for the IDF in southern Lebanon? And we are the IDF.
So they're
depressed, they are scared, they...
No. Let's go one step back. The Arab world today respects Israel and the IDF after the 7th of October to the levels where I've not seen that in the last 77 years.
Wow, it's interesting.
I am telling you, the pager operation, the fact that we attacked in Qatar. I heard Arabs from the Arab world saying, I don't want to mess with the Jews. I don't want to mess with Israel. I don't want to mess with the IDF. Be proud of the IDF. On the 7th of October, we were on our knees. We were. And on the 7th of October, I thought that if Hezbollah would have entered and the Iranian regime would have entered, Hassan Nasrallah and Yahya Sinwar would shake hands in Tel Aviv.
Yeah.
And then people ask me, when did you know that we are not going to be beaten, but we're going to win and we're going to set up example for the next generation? I said on the 8th of October when I heard that there was 130% enlistment to the reserves on duty. Not 90%, not 100%, 130. And then we started to fight. Despite the fact that we have 7 fronts and another one major front that completely has a direct impact on the 7 fronts, which is the propaganda war against the entire world against us. But we have burned Yemen with the Houthis. Until today, they're trying to put the fire out. We went to Iran. Titi, in Arabic we say, Titi, مثل ما جيتي, رحتي مثل ما جيتي. Which means it's a word that we take and then we say how we came, we went back. So we came, dropped bombs, we came back. Put more bombs, came back, dropped bombs, came back. We made you guys. Do you have beeps here in the show, or we can't curse?
No.
So I will be with a bit of a statementship. In any case, we made Iran, okay, our little, toy, and we did. The Iranian regime is completely under massive strikes and weakened to the level where people need to talk about it and not talk about the fact that, we'll State of Hormuz. Look at what they did. And the fact is that everybody in the Muslim and the Arab world said Israel will not touch Hassan Nasrallah and will not touch Ali al-Khamenei. And we eliminated both of them. And we did the pager operation. And we did so many operations that I can't even remember all of them.
Yeah.
The IDF puts himself today as a major power army in the Middle East and in the world. And today, our name, not only in the Middle East, but in the world itself, as one of the best armies in the world. Now, our job is to take our brave soldiers and tell them, in 3 languages, I want to say it, Shukran, Toda, and thank you for absolutely everything what you've done. And keep in mind, everyone here and in the audience, here's the thing. In the IDF, you have Arab Muslims, Arab Christians, and Druze and Jews fighting since 1948, by the way.
Yeah.
1948. And what we have in the IDF are top of the people who are fighting for this country because I, as an Arab, would not like, or wouldn't want to live in any other country in the world beside my country,
Yosef.
the state of Israel.
I can listen to you the whole day. Like, you have so much knowledge, and I do
and he's
say,
it's making me feel good. Like,
yeah.
Be proud.
Be
Thank you
proud.
for
We are
what you're
proud of
doing
you.
for
We are
Israel.
proud of you.
You're doing such a great job.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Toda Thank you for
Shukran.
being
very
It
much.
was really amazing to be with you guys.
Amazing. Thank you. A shocking new report has just mapped out the most influential anti-Semitic voices on the planet. We're naming names and looking at how these influencers are shaping global hate. We have Greta Thunberg, we have Tucker Carlson, Nick Fuentes, Candace Owens, Anastasia Maria Lopez, and Dan Bilzerian we just spoke about, Bassem Youssef, and it goes on and on. I think this is the 10 leading, but there are many, many more.
What achievement to show to your kids and to be proud of.
It looks like an academy.
I'm cynical.
Yeah, no, it looks like an academy reward, right?
Yeah.
Who's number one? Who's number two?
It's just amazing how the far left and the far right can agree on one thing, which is hating the Jews.
Yeah.
It's so unnatural because if they ever sat down together, they wouldn't agree on anything. The new anti-Semitism in this list is the Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens ones. This is the new wave of anti-Semitism. And I don't understand it.
And they cover it by saying we are not anti-Semitism, we are anti-Zionism.
But you know what is hard for me to understand in this new group, which I'm sure I'll get answers later, but now I still don't get it because most of their followers are conservatives. These used to be conservative followers, Christian followers. And while Judaism has never threatened Christianity in any way, Judaism shrunk during the years. It's less than 0.2%.
Yeah.
The only other religion that is threatening Christianity around the world is radical Islam. So I'm asking if you have Christian followers and you're diverting the attention from what is really happening in Africa, or if you're talking about the Middle East and you're not mentioning the fact that Lebanon and Syria and Iraq and Egypt were majority Christian, then why are you doing that? Why are you diverting the conversation towards a religion that never affected your religion?
I hope they will realize this is a list that you don't want to be in, and they will see what radical Islam can do to their country. I'm talking about like Tucker Carlson. He will see what they do in the United States. They will see what will going to be New Europe. They will understand they have been standing in the wrong side. And I hope it will happen soon. And they will be ashamed of themselves for sending just so much hate.
I don't know if it will happen, but you're right about there being Christians, and I'm calling the other side of Christianity, the Christian evangelists, those who are opposing this narrative, to come out, to come and speak, to say that the Jewish people is a chosen people, right? Bless who's blessed Israel, curse who's cursed Israel, and stand on the side with Israel. You cannot let these voices who are taking over, that are spreading virally on social media, to bash Israel, to bash Judaism, and to spread hate all over the place. In the end, there are some people that are doing it, like Ted Cruz, like Marco Rubio, but we lost people like Charlie Kirk. And
I always ask myself, what would Charlie Kirk said when I see Tucker and Candace? I always say to myself, what would have Charlie Kirk said? Because he was so respected, and they were all united before he died, and something huge happened after his assassination.
This is the list.
Yep.
All we have to do is to fight it. We're ending on a note of bridge building and Israeli pride. We're spotlighting the Israeli creator who is taking the fight to the Arabic-speaking world, using the language of our neighbors to tell the real story of Israel and bypass the propaganda. It's a masterclass in digital diplomacy. Take a look.
فاك إسرائيل
الوضع
والله الحمد لله. عندك؟
أنا مش عربي.
أنت إسرائيلي؟ كن شباك.
بس إيسا مبين وجهي قدام الكاميرا بالسوشيال ميديا، كيف إني شباك؟
أنت مسلم؟
لا، يهودي.
يهودي؟ ما شاء الله.
بس
شو اسمك؟
اسمي رام.
والله هذا أنت.
في شوية متابعين.
أعطيتك متابعة.
تسلم.
الله بالتوفيق الله ينجحك. ما شاء الله عليك.
إن شاء الله إنه الناس يتعلموا عربي ويصيروا زي.
والله أنت شخص طيب، قسم بالله والله أول شيء ما توقعت. والله العظيم. ما شاء الله عليك.
This is so funny. Yoseph Haddad was here earlier today, and he said if you want to advocate really good for Israel, you have to learn Arabic.
Yeah.
And the way the guy was shocked, he started the conversation cursing him, and then he heard this like fluent Arabic, and he started to talk to him, and it's ended by the guy he's following him back. Like we saw in the video, it's Yossi, he's like a teacher from Jerusalem, a teacher for Arabic, and this is how you really can advocate for Israel.
It shows you what language can do.
You
it
want
makes
to study,
me want to
right?
speak Arabic. It does.
Maybe you need to approach him.
Know your enemy to make him your friend. I believe that obviously after October 7th, I'm very, very right wing. And I understand Islamist ideology. I've studied it for almost 2.5 years now. But Islamist ideology is not Muslim. Is not being Muslim. Being Muslim can mean other things.
Yeah.
And I think that if we spoke Arabic, we could differentiate between people who want, like the people in Lebanon that said we just want to have peace with them.
Yeah.
We know stories from hostages in captivity that taught the Arabic language and then started speaking with their captors in Arabic. And they got more likable, more attention, more access to the captors just because the language is always a barrier. And indeed, if we learn the language, we teach our children the language, perhaps we can do better with our
We live in the Middle
language.
East, we have to acknowledge that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, let's go and give a like to this guy that he will be able to advocate for Israel in Arabic. Ladies, thank you as always. And to our viewers, thank you for being with us. Stay safe. And we will see you next time right here on All Caps.